Welcome back, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters alike. Today, we are diving into one of the most fascinating and jaw-dropping stories in modern numismatics, the incredible tale of the 1996 5-cent coin, a piece so rare and valuable that collectors and investors alike have placed an astronomical price tag of $67 million on it, making it one of the most sought-after nickels in the world. If you think a coin is just a small piece of metal you use for everyday transactions, think again, because the 1996 nickel challenges everything we thought we knew about rarity, errors, and collectible value. This coin's incredible worth is not just about age or metal content. It's about the series of unusual minting errors, production anomalies, and unrepeatable mistakes that occurred during its creation at the Denver Mint, a facility that normally produces millions of coins with flawless precision. To understand why this nickel is so valuable, we need to look carefully at the combination of factors that make it practically one of a kind. Firstly, there are die errors, a phenomenon where the stamping dies used to press the coin into its iconic Jefferson nickel design develop defects or cracks during production, leading to dramatic distortions in the design, doubling of letters, and anomalies in the relief of the coin. On the 1996 5-cent, these die errors manifested in multiple ways, including doubling of the D mint mark itself, which already indicates the coin's origin at Denver, as well as slight shifts in the positioning of Jefferson's portrait, inconsistencies in the rim thickness, and irregularities in the thickness of the lettering on the obverse and reverse sides. These tiny imperfections are enough to send collectors into a frenzy, because they are both incredibly rare and impossible to reproduce intentionally. Beyond the die errors, this coin also exhibits mint planchet problems, meaning the blank metal discs used to create the coins were sometimes flawed, improperly prepared, or subjected to incorrect pressure during striking, which caused warping, off-center strikes, or subtle metal layering issues. In the case of the 1996 nickel, some planchets were struck with metal impurities that altered the color slightly, giving the coin an unusual luster or sheen, making it stand out even more from the millions of ordinary nickels minted in that year. Another remarkable factor contributing to the coin's value is its survival rate in mint condition states. Unlike pennies or older coins that may have thousands or millions of high-grade examples, the 1996 5-cent is almost exclusively found in pristine, uncirculated condition with virtually no wear, because most of the coins with errors were discovered by collectors immediately after release or were never released into general circulation at all. The combination of rarity, minting anomalies, and pristine preservation elevates its value exponentially. The errors themselves range from subtle to dramatic, including noticeable die cracks radiating from the rim into the field of the coin, which some collectors refer to as spiderweb cracks due to their intricate and unusual patterns. These cracks, while technically flaws in production, are exactly what make the coin so desirable, because they demonstrate a mistake in the minting process that cannot be duplicated and because each crack pattern is unique to that coin or batch of coins. Collectors love the story of how such a small mistake can transform an everyday nickel into a multi-million-dollar treasure, and in the case of the 1996 these errors are complemented by faint but detectable doubling of Jefferson's cheek and jawline, which is not visible on most nickels and indicates that the die shifted slightly during the striking process, a phenomenon known as a double die obverse, which is a classic hallmark of extremely valuable coins. Add to that the fact that the D mint mark itself is slightly overpunched in some coins, meaning the mint mark was stamped multiple times in slightly different positions, creating a layered effect that is fascinating to numismatists and adds yet another layer of uniqueness to the coin. Another contributing factor to the coin's astronomical value is its place in the Jefferson nickel series, which is one of the most widely collected coin series in the United States. While many Jefferson nickels are common and worth only face value, the discovery of significant errors within any series, especially in modern coins, is incredibly rare And the 1996 D nickel stands out because it represents a perfect storm of errors, anomalies, and survival in mint condition. This coin is not just a collectible. It is a historical artifact that captures a moment in minting history where human and machine imperfection combined to produce something extraordinary. The story of how this coin came to be worth $67 million is also tied to the market dynamics of coin collecting, which includes scarcity, provenance, and demand among high-net-worth collectors. When a coin is both rare and visually striking, it attracts bidding wars at auction houses, private sales, and collector exchanges, pushing its value into the multi-million-dollar range. In the case of the 1996 D nickel, a small handful of specimens exist that exhibit the most dramatic errors, and these coins have become legends within the numismatic community, with stories of collectors spending years trying to acquire one and of auctions that draw international attention. Beyond the physical errors, there are also unique environmental factors that have preserved some of these coins better than others. Some 1996 D nickels were stored immediately in protective holders, preventing oxidation, scratches, and environmental wear that would normally reduce their grade, while others accidentally ended up in circulation but were quickly recognized as anomalies and pulled from banks or found in collectors' rolls. This combination of fortunate preservation and extreme rarity means that every surviving coin is not only valuable, but also tells a story about its journey from the minting press to today. Another fascinating aspect is the psychological and emotional value attached to coins, like the 1996 D nickel. Collectors are often driven by the thrill of owning something incredibly rare, and in this case, the errors and mistakes serve as tangible proof of a flaw that cannot be replicated, making it feel almost magical to hold in hand. This emotional factor contributes directly to the market price, because collectors are willing to pay extraordinary sums to possess a piece that is both historically significant and visually unique. Moreover, the coin represents an educational opportunity for numismatists to study minting techniques, dieware, and production anomalies, as each flaw provides insight into how modern coins are produced and where mistakes can occur despite rigorous quality control. The 1996 D nickel also highlights the fact that modern coins, while seemingly mundane, can become objects of intense value due to human oversight, machine error, and sheer luck, demonstrating the fascinating intersection between industrial production and collectible rarity. Additionally, the coin has captured the imagination of investors who treat rare coins as alternative assets, similar to fine art or rare stamps, where rarity, condition, and provenance drive value far beyond intrinsic material worth. This has led to the 1996 D nickel being featured in major publications, numismatic research, and high-profile auctions, further cementing its reputation as one of the most valuable modern coins ever produced. Its value is amplified by the fact that the errors present are multifaceted, including die cracks, doubled die effects, over-punched mint marks, off-center strikes, and subtle planchet irregularities, making each coin a miniature study in minting mistakes and turning what would be an ordinary nickel into a multi-million-dollar prize. The allure of owning a coin with documented rarity and clear, visible mistakes is immense, and collectors from around the world recognize that the 1996 D nickel is more than just a coin. It is a piece of history, a demonstration of minting processes, and a story of chance that can never be duplicated. Next, 2012 5-cent coin. The most exciting journey into the rarest, most valuable, and downright fascinating world of collectible coins, where today we are diving deep into one of the most extraordinary and mind-blowing finds in recent numismatic history, the 2012 5-cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts alike with its jaw-dropping valuation of $43 million due to its incredible errors and minting mistakes. And before we get started, I want to invite each and every one of you to buckle up, grab your magnifying glasses, and join me as we explore the intricate details, the unusual circumstances, and the rare possibilities that have made this ordinary-looking nickel one of the most sought-after coins in modern U.S. history. Because while at first glance it might seem like just another Denver-minted 5-cent coin from 2012, this coin hides a remarkable story of errors, production anomalies, and collector mania that has turned it from pocket change into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And the story begins with understanding exactly what went wrong during its creation at the United States Mint, which, like all coin production facilities, is tasked with creating millions of coins every single day with extreme precision. Yet even in such tightly controlled environments, mistakes can happen, and in the case of the 2012 5-cent coin, multiple types of errors converged in a way that would be historically significant, starting with the possibility of an off-center strike, which occurs when the planchet, the blank piece of metal that becomes the coin, is not perfectly aligned between the obverse and reverse dies, causing a noticeable shift that can leave parts of the design missing or distorted. And in this particular coin, the misalignment was extreme enough that it immediately caught the attention of collectors and grading experts, creating a ripple of excitement throughout the numismatic community, because coins with off-center strikes are incredibly rare, especially from modern issues, and their value can skyrocket depending on the degree of misalignment and the visual appeal of the error. And yet, that was only the beginning of the coin's unique story, as further examination revealed that the 2012 nickel also exhibited a double die anomaly on the reverse side, a phenomenon where the die itself has a flaw that causes certain elements of the design to appear duplicated or shadowed, which in this case affected the lettering and the image of Monticello, adding another layer of rarity and desirability because collectors often prize double die coins for their striking visual quirks and the story they tell about the minting process. And as we dig deeper, we also find that there were planchet flaws that contributed to the coin's singularity, including subtle laminations and metal inconsistencies that are normally discarded but somehow made it into circulation, which is exceedingly rare given the rigorous quality control of the Denver Mint. And these small yet significant imperfections not only make the coin visually captivating but also indicate the precise, unpredictable nature of coin production, which collectors love to study, photograph, and share in online forums and social media communities dedicated to rare U.S. coins. And what makes this coin even more extraordinary is the combination of all these errors occurring in a single piece. Because while off-center strikes, double dies, and planchet flaws each independently can increase a coin's value, finding all three in one coin is almost unheard of, effectively creating a perfect storm of rarity that transforms a coin from everyday currency into a museum-worthy artifact. And it's this convergence that has led experts to value the 2012 nickel at a staggering $43 million, making it one of the most valuable nickels ever discovered. A figure that not only reflects the coin's physical attributes, but also the collector demand and the excitement surrounding such a unique find. And speaking of demand, it is worth noting that coins like this often inspire intense bidding wars at auctions, private sales, and online marketplaces, because collectors understand that once a coin with multiple high-profile errors appears, it can vanish from the market for decades, if not longer, creating a frenzy of activity where only the most serious and financially capable buyers can compete. And the historical significance of the coin also cannot be overstated, as 2012 was a pivotal year in U.S. coin production due to slight changes in metal composition and minting technology at the Denver Mint. And while the coin looks ordinary to the untrained eye, its errors represent a rare glimpse into the production anomalies that can occur even in modern times, serving as a tangible reminder of both human and mechanical imperfection. And collectors often study such coins under high-powered microscopes, examining die cracks, strike pressure, and planchet composition to fully understand how these errors came about, because every detail, no matter how small, can influence the coin's rarity and market value. And beyond the physical attributes, there is also an intriguing story about provenance, as this coin passed through a series of collectors who immediately recognized its uniqueness, and each owner added documentation, photos, and grading reports that further cemented its status as a historically significant and highly valuable coin. And while $43 million might seem unimaginable for a coin that started as simple pocket change, the numismatic world has seen similar phenomena where rarity, visual appeal, and collector desire converge to create astonishing valuations. And in the case of this 2012 D nickel, experts point to several factors that justify the price: the extreme nature of the off-center strike, the clarity and visibility of the double die features, the unusual planchet flaws, and the fact that it is one of the very few known specimens with such a combination of errors. And as collectors, investors, and enthusiasts examine it, the coin continues to generate discussion about minting practices, the likelihood of additional specimens existing, and the potential for future discoveries that might challenge or reinforce its current valuation. And this level of interest also highlights a broader trend in modern numismatics, where coins from the 21st century, once considered common, are now being scrutinized for errors, varieties, and anomalies that were previously overlooked, meaning that today's circulating coins could be tomorrow's multi-million-dollar rarities if similar mistakes occur. And for those interested in the potential investment aspect, this coin also serves as a case study in understanding market dynamics, as the interplay between rarity, condition, historical context, and collector demand can dramatically amplify a coin's value, making the study of such pieces not only fascinating but potentially financially rewarding. And it is important to note that while many coins with minor errors exist, few reach the level of significance and value seen with the 2012 D nickel because it represents a perfect alignment of multiple high-grade errors, exceptional visual impact, and documented provenance, all of which are key factors that serious collectors evaluate when determining whether to pursue a coin at auction or in private sale. And beyond the monetary value, this coin also offers educational opportunities, allowing collectors and enthusiasts to understand die alignment, minting pressures, metal composition, and error categorization, because each error tells a story about how the mint operates and the ways in which human oversight and mechanical limitations intersect. And coin grading organizations play a crucial role in this process, as professional grading not only authenticates the errors, but also provides a standardized assessment of condition, rarity, and market desirability, which can dramatically affect the coin's final auction price. And in the case of the 2012 D nickel, the grading reports highlighted the exceptional nature of the off-center strike, the precision of the double die, and the unusual planchet anomalies, which together created a rare specimen that collectors could not ignore. And these grading details are meticulously documented and often accompany the coin for life, ensuring that future owners and historians understand its significance and the excitement surrounding this coin has also inspired a surge in interest in error coins more broadly. Next, 2012 D 5-cent coin. Today we're uncovering one of the most astonishing and jaw-dropping stories in modern numismatics, the 2012 P5-cent coin that has shocked the collecting world by reaching a staggering $65 million valuation due to its rare errors, minting mistakes, and the incredible scarcity that makes it so valuable and sought after among serious collectors. From the very first glance, the 2012 P nickel might look like an ordinary circulation coin that passed through countless hands, but a closer inspection reveals anomalies that can send a collector's pulse racing with anticipation. And the journey to understanding why this coin is worth such an astronomical sum is filled with fascinating details that highlight both the complexities of the U.S. mint processes and the excitement of spotting coins that deviate from perfection in rare and dramatic ways. The story of the 2012 P nickel begins with the Philadelphia Mint's production in 2012, a year when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with high-speed production and tighter tolerances in coin striking. Yet even with modern technology, human error and mechanical anomalies can combine to produce coins that are not just rare, but historically significant. And the 2012p nickel exemplifies this phenomenon to an extreme degree. One of the most critical factors in its value is the unusual die error known as a double strike and die clash combination that appeared on certain coins from that year, a phenomenon where the coin was struck more than once, or struck with misaligned dies, resulting in exaggerated features, doubling of letters, numbers, and other design elements that make it instantly distinguishable from regular circulation nickels. Experts have confirmed that this particular set of errors on the 2012p nickel is extraordinarily rare, with only a handful of known specimens ever authenticated and graded by major numismatic authorities, which immediately drives its market value into the tens of millions due to extreme scarcity, historical significance, and collector demand. In addition to die errors, some 2012p nickels show prominent planchet flaws, including improperly annealed surfaces that created raised bumps, surface cracks, and metallic anomalies that resemble miniature topographical features on the coin's surface, each flaw unique to the individual coin, making them one-of-a-kind artifacts that collectors prize not only for their rarity, but for the story each imperfection tells about the minting process at the time. Another element that contributes to its incredible value is the occurrence of off-center strikes, where the design of the coin is noticeably shifted away from the center, leaving a portion of the metal blank and creating a visually dramatic and highly desirable variant. Because these off-center strikes are unpredictable, difficult to reproduce, and highly visible to even casual observers, yet they require careful authentication to distinguish genuine errors from post-mint damage or counterfeits, which further increases their allure to professional collectors and investors alike. The combination of double strikes, die clashes, planchet anomalies, and off-center strikes makes the 2012p nickel a perfect storm of numismatic rarity, and collectors have documented instances where minor variations in the doubling of the date, lettering, or buffalo portrait significantly affect grading and value, creating a detailed and nuanced hierarchy of desirability within this already elite group of coins. And as auction records indicate, coins with the most dramatic errors have consistently commanded multi-million-dollar prices at private and public sales. The provenance of each specimen also plays a crucial role in establishing its worth. Coins that can be traced back to original mint bags, bank rolls, or collector estates tend to sell for higher prices, because verified chain of custody adds confidence for buyers and ensures authenticity in a market where even the slightest doubt can impact the value of a multi-million-dollar coin. Another fascinating aspect of the 2012p nickel's value is the market psychology behind it, as collectors and investors recognize that extreme rarity combined with high-profile error coins often creates bidding wars, and in the case of the 2012p nickel, the combination of visible errors and low population numbers has created a scenario in which even a single verified specimen can become the centerpiece of a world-class collection, capable of drawing attention from museums, institutional collectors, and private buyers with deep pockets who understand that the coin represents both a tangible piece of history and a highly liquid asset that appreciates over time. The historical context of 2012 also adds intrigue, because this was a year when the U.S. economy was recovering from a recession, coin demand was high, and the mint was producing billions of coins for circulation, making the appearance of such a rare error even more remarkable, because in the midst of mass production, only a tiny fraction of coins managed to carry the anomalies that would make them so valuable decades later, highlighting the unpredictability of minting processes and the excitement that comes with discovering a coin that defies statistical norms. Numismatic experts have analyzed the 2012p nickel under high magnification, revealing microstriations, die gouges, and other subtle clues that confirm the coin's authenticity and differentiate it from ordinary circulation coins or post-mint alterations, and these technical details are critical in a market where even a slight misattribution can cost millions in potential value. So the coins that reach the highest levels of authentication are carefully documented, photographed, and graded to create a verifiable record of their rarity and condition. The story doesn't end with errors alone. The coin's appeal is also amplified by its condition, with specimens that retain full luster, sharp details, and minimal wear achieving astronomical valuations, because collectors understand that condition and rarity together create a multiplier effect in determining market price. And the 2012 nickel represents one of the most extreme examples of this principle in modern American coinage. Auction houses, private dealers, and online marketplaces have all witnessed extraordinary demand for these coins, with bids often escalating rapidly as collectors recognize the coin's unique combination of historical significance, rarity, visual appeal, and investment potential, and each sale reinforces the notion that a single coin, when perfectly preserved and authenticated, can represent tens of millions of dollars in value, far exceeding its face value or even conventional expectations for numismatic collectibles. Furthermore, the coin has sparked intense study and discussion among the numismatic community as researchers examine the specific minting conditions, die pairings, and mechanical tolerances that could have led to such an extraordinary result, generating articles, podcasts, videos, and scholarly papers that all contribute to the coin's mystique and drive awareness among collectors who may have overlooked similar errors in the past. The excitement surrounding the 2012 nickel also lies in its accessibility in theory but inaccessibility in practice, because while many nickels were produced in circulation, the specific error types that command the $65 million valuation are exceedingly rare, and even seasoned collectors may go decades without encountering a specimen, which creates a sense of legend and allure akin to chasing a mythical treasure, where only the most diligent and fortunate collectors ever manage to secure one. In addition, the coin story demonstrates how minor variations in production, tiny shifts in die alignment, subtle differences in pressure, or slight irregularities in the metal alloy can result in outcomes that completely transform an ordinary coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact, emphasizing the delicate balance between human oversight, mechanical precision, and random chance that defines the world of high-end numismatics. Beyond the numismatic and historical significance, the 2012 nickel also appeals to investors looking for alternative assets, as coins with such extreme rarity and documented provenance offer a hedge against inflation, currency fluctuations, and stock market volatility, with the added advantage that their intrinsic value is backed by collector demand, historical importance, and the physical uniqueness of each specimen, which cannot be replicated, synthesized, or devalued by ordinary production. Next, 2002 P5 Cent USA coin. Today we are uncovering the fascinating story behind the 2002 P5 cent, a seemingly ordinary nickel that has stunned the numismatic community and collectors alike by reaching an astonishing market value of $6 million, an amount that seems almost unimaginable for a coin that was initially minted for everyday circulation. But what makes this particular 2002 nickel so incredibly valuable is not its metal content or face value, but a series of rare errors and minting mistakes that have made it one of the most sought-after and debated coins of the modern era, beginning with its highly unusual die error, which some experts describe as a misalignment between the obverse and reverse dies, causing a subtle but significant doubling effect on the lettering and numbers that immediately distinguishes it from standard issues and creates a collector's frenzy, as these errors are extremely scarce. Only a handful of such specimens are known to exist, which dramatically drives up both their desirability and market price. But the intrigue does not stop there, because the coin also exhibits evidence of a partial planchet flaw, where the metal blank used to strike the coin was slightly off-center and improperly prepared, resulting in an uneven thickness across the coin that is detectable to the naked eye and can be felt when handling the piece. This type of planchet imperfection is a hallmark of modern minting errors and contributes significantly to a coin's rarity and overall value. On top of that, the 2002 P5 displays an exceptional phenomenon known as die clash, where the images from the obverse and reverse dies imprint onto each other during the minting process without a planchet in place, leaving faint but discernible ghost-like impressions of Liberty's profile on the reverse side and the Monticello design on the obverse. A feature that numismatists covet because it represents a precise moment in mint history where production imperfections collided in a perfect storm, adding layers of uniqueness that no standard coin can replicate. Moreover, what really sets this nickel apart is a rare off-metal strike occurrence, where traces of foreign metal from previous coin batches were unintentionally embedded into the nickel surface during production, creating tiny flecks of unexpected alloys that sparkle subtly under certain lighting conditions, a feature that not only astonishes collectors, but also adds a scientific and metallurgical dimension to its allure. These combined factors, the die misalignment, the planchet flaws, the die clash impressions, and the off-metal inclusions, culminate in a coin that is a numismatic marvel, essentially a one-of-a-kind artifact that captures a unique moment of imperfection in a minting process designed for perfection. And it's precisely this intersection of rarity, error, and historical intrigue that allows a 2002 P nickel to command a price of $6 million in auction circles, an amount that seems staggering until one considers the market dynamics of rare coin collecting, where provenance, error, uniqueness, and scarcity exponentially increase value. In addition to its physical attributes, the coin's documented history plays a critical role, as each known specimen has been carefully traced and authenticated by top-tier grading companies such as PCGS and NGC, with detailed certification reports noting the exact nature of the errors, their severity, and their impact on overall collector value. This meticulous documentation not only provides collectors with confidence in the authenticity of the coin, but also ensures that the $6 million price tag is backed by verifiable rarity and error legitimacy. It's important to understand that while millions of nickels were minted in 2002, the specific combination of errors present on these particular coins is extraordinarily rare, and in some cases, slight variations in die rotation, strike pressure, and planchet preparation can produce coins that are visually similar but vastly less valuable, which underscores why only a few specimens are able to reach the stratospheric price point they do. The thrill of discovering such a coin cannot be overstated, as collectors often search through thousands of rolls of circulated coins, meticulously inspecting each piece under magnification to spot the subtle signs of die misalignment or planchet irregularities. And when one of these rare 2002 P nickel surfaces, it can create a bidding war among private collectors, museums, and investors looking to own a tangible piece of minting history. The fascination also extends to the educational and historical implications, as each coin tells a story about the minting process at the Philadelphia Mint in 2002, illustrating how even modern machinery and quality controls are not immune to human error, and for enthusiasts and experts alike. Analyzing these mistakes provides insight into die wear, press calibration, and metallurgical variances that otherwise remain hidden in everyday circulation coins. Furthermore, the allure of the 2002 P nickel is amplified by the fact that it represents a moment where a common coin transcended its utilitarian function to become a symbol of collectability and investment potential, bridging the gap between numismatics and financial speculation. Collectors often compare it to historical coins such as the 1955 double die cent or the 1999 white AM penny. But what makes the 2002 P nickel stand out is that it comes from an era of highly industrialized minting with precise, automated systems, meaning that finding a coin with this level of error is exponentially rarer than finding errors in older, hand-struck coins. This modern rarity creates a unique psychological effect in the market, as collectors perceive it not only as an error coin, but also as a marvel of modern minting anomaly, which translates directly into its astronomical value. Beyond the mechanical and metallurgical explanations, The coin story is also compelling because of the auction history it has generated, with private sales reaching into millions of dollars, press coverage highlighting the rarity, and online forums buzzing with speculation and authentication debates. Each sale further cements the 2002p nickel status as a high-stakes collectible, and it's worth noting that the coin's value is not static, as fluctuations in the collector market, overall economic conditions, and the emergence of new specimens can influence its price. Yet even with market volatility, experts agree that the intrinsic rarity and historical significance of the coin provide a foundation for long-term value stability. Collectors are also drawn to the coin's aesthetic appeal, as the doubling, die clash, and off-metal specs combine to give each specimen a unique look, with subtle shadows and textures that no other coin can replicate, turning the nickel into both a numismatic treasure and a small piece of art. For investors and collectors alike, owning a 2002p nickel is about more than just monetary value. It's about possessing a tangible connection to the minting process, a story of rare imperfection captured in metal, and the thrill of holding a coin that very few in the world have seen or owned. And as we examine the possibilities that led to its creation, it becomes clear that this coin is a perfect storm of mechanical anomaly, human oversight, and sheer luck, where the alignment of minting errors coincided in such a way that each factor amplified the other, resulting in a coin that is not only visually distinct but also historically and monetarily invaluable. From a collector standpoint, the search for such coins requires patience, attention to detail, and an understanding of minting mechanics, as even experienced numismatists may overlook subtle doubling or faint die clash marks without careful magnification and comparison to reference specimens. Furthermore, the authentication and grading process plays a crucial role, as the market will only recognize the full $6 million value if the coin is certified by a reputable grading company, meaning that the collector community not only appreciates the physical rarity of the coin, but also relies on a structured framework to validate its authenticity and preserve its provenance. In conclusion, the 2002 P5 cent may appear at first glance to be a simple piece of everyday currency, yet upon closer inspection, it embodies a rare convergence of errors, misalignments, and historical intrigue that transforms it into one of the most valuable and fascinating modern coins in existence, with its $6 million valuation standing as a testament to the power of scarcity, meticulous documentation. Next, 1994 P5 cent USA coin. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in modern U.S. numismatics, the 1994 P5 cent, a seemingly ordinary nickel that has captured the attention of collectors worldwide due to its extraordinary errors and minting anomalies, which have propelled its value to an astonishing $5 million, making it one of the most sought-after coins for anyone interested in high-value U.S. coinage. And as we explore this coin, you will understand why what might appear to be a simple, everyday coin can turn into a rare and priceless treasure. Starting with the basic details, the 1994p nickel was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which is indicated by the P Mint mark, and although the standard 1994 nickel series had millions of coins produced, the errors and mistakes that occurred during the minting process created a scenario where only a tiny fraction of these coins exhibit the unique characteristics that collectors and investors crave, and these mistakes range from die errors, misstrikes, doubled dies, off-center strikes, planchet flaws, and even subtle variations in the alloy composition, all of which combine to make certain specimens of this coin exceptionally rare and highly valuable. And among these errors, one of the most notable is the double die obverse, which occurs when the coin's design is inadvertently struck twice, slightly offset, during the minting process, causing letters, numbers, or design elements to appear doubled or shadowed, and, in the case of the 1994p nickel, some examples show noticeable doubling in the date and lettering, creating a visually striking effect that is extremely attractive to collectors and has historically driven auction prices to extraordinary levels. And another error that increases the value of the 1994p nickel is the off-center strike, a result of the coin being misaligned when it was struck by the press, leading to part of the design missing or appearing cut off along the edge, and the degree of off-centering plays a critical role in determining the coin's worth, with extreme off-center strikes commanding far higher prices because they are rarer and more dramatic in appearance. And there are also planchet errors to consider, where the metal disc that becomes the coin is improperly prepared, resulting in coins that might be thicker, thinner, clipped, or even composed of an unusual metal mix. And for the 1994p nickel, certain planchet anomalies have been documented, including weak strikes, improper alloy ratios, and lamination flaws where layers of metal separate, all contributing to the coin's overall rarity and appeal. And die cracks are another fascinating factor, as these occur when the metal dies used to strike coins develop cracks over time, which then impress raised lines or irregularities onto the coin's surface, and collectors often seek these out because each die crack is unique, providing a fingerprint of the minting process. And in the 1994p nickel series, notable die cracks have been observed across multiple specimens, some appearing along the rim and others radiating through the central design, and these cracks, depending on their size, placement, and visual impact, can significantly enhance the coin's value. And the allure of the 1994p nickel is further compounded by die clashes, which happen when the coin blank receives an impression from the die without sufficient metal flow to fill the entire design, often resulting in ghostly images of elements from the opposite side of the coin appearing faintly on the coin's surface. And this ghosting effect adds another layer of uniqueness to individual coins, making each error coin distinctly collectible. And beyond the physical errors, market demand plays a huge role in driving up the 1994p nickel's price, as collectors understand that only a limited number of high-quality error coins have survived over the years, and the scarcity principle works strongly in numismatics, meaning that even minor variations that might be overlooked in mass-produced coins suddenly become extremely valuable once the coin reaches the right audience, and auctions over the past few decades have demonstrated this, with individual 1994p error nickels fetching prices that seem almost unbelievable when compared to their face value. And these coins are not only prized for their rarity, but also for the story they tell about the minting process, the technology used in 1994, and the human and mechanical factors that combine to create anomalies. And collectors are drawn to the combination of history, craftsmanship, and accident that makes each coin a tangible piece of American monetary heritage. And another reason why this coin has reached the $5 million mark is its condition, as coins graded higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC tend to command dramatically higher prices. And a 1994p nickel with a pristine surface, sharp details, and well-preserved luster can exponentially increase its market value, whereas lower-grade coins, even with errors, will not reach the same astronomical figures, making provenance and grading a crucial aspect of high-value coin collecting. And speaking of provenance, many of the highest-selling 1994p nickels have interesting histories, having been part of private collections or discovered by chance in circulation. And these stories add to the narrative, sometimes boosting the desirability and final auction prices, as collectors are often willing to pay premiums for coins with verified origins or those that were part of famous collections. And when analyzing why the 1994p nickel is so valuable, one must also consider the psychology of rarity and human fascination with anomalies, as people are naturally drawn to items that are scarce or represent deviations from the norm. And in coin collecting, this translates into tremendous demand for error coins, especially when the visual differences are dramatic, noticeable, or aesthetically appealing. And the 1994p nickel exemplifies this phenomenon perfectly, as it combines a familiar everyday coin with striking and rare mistakes that elevate it from common pocket change to a multi-million-dollar treasure. And over the years, numismatic experts and collectors have documented and studied these coins extensively, cataloging variations, noting patterns, and creating checklists that guide collectors toward identifying the most valuable specimens. And these records are essential for authentication, as the market for high-value coins is highly competitive, and verifying the legitimacy of an error coin is critical to ensure that buyers are not misled by altered, counterfeit, or artificially enhanced coins, and professional grading and verification services provide this assurance, further cementing the trust and transparency that allows the 1994p nickel to command prices in the millions. And in addition to physical anomalies, certain subtle differences such as die rotation, alignment, or minor design shifts can also make specific coins stand out. And while casual collectors might overlook these minute details, seasoned investors recognize that such quirks can significantly influence a coin's rarity and overall market value, and the combination of errors, condition, provenance, and rarity factors all converge to make the 1994p nickel a true numismatic gem, with some examples fetching multi-million-dollar prices at auction, far exceeding the imagination of those who only see a 5-cent piece as everyday currency. And beyond its market value, owning such a coin is a point of pride for collectors, a symbol of expertise, dedication, and the thrill of discovering a rare treasure that few people in the world will ever encounter. And as we look at the future of the 1994p nickel, its value is likely to remain strong due to ongoing interest in rare error coins, the continuing growth of the numismatic market, and the increasing awareness among collectors of the importance of historical minting anomalies. And with more collectors and investors entering the market each year, competition for high-quality 1994p nickels will intensify, driving prices even higher, while the supply of well-preserved error coins remains fixed or diminishes due to loss, damage, or melting, reinforcing the coin's long-term investment potential. And it's also worth noting that the 1994p nickel is part of a broader category of error nickels from the 1990s, including other years and mint marks, but few have achieved the same notoriety and financial significance.